You have what it takes to lead successfully. You're just a little rough around the edges. So let's refine your skills and make it happen once and for all. Let's discover why some leaders struggle in this area and how to turn it around. Hey there, my name is Isai Rodriguez and I'm your friend. And this is where we build your leadership skills and your home business profits one actionable tip at a time. So hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and let's get right into it. So today we're diving into a juicy topic, if you will, why some people suck at leading and how to turn it around. Yeah, we're going there today. So buckle up because this episode is all about, it's all about looking in the mirror at yourself, looking at that reflection and making some real changes, making some true adjustments, some true self-reflection, right? And making changes based on that reflection. So we're going to get a little bit real here. This might sting a few people, it stung myself, until I got past myself, So let's face it, we've all faced those leaders who just, they suck, right? Maybe it's your upline, maybe it's your team leader, maybe it's your boss at work. If you haven't, made the full transition yet from the employment world to the entrepreneurial world. But here's the kicker, is that most of the time, the reason someone sucks at leading isn't because they're a bad person at heart. Actually, for the most part, they're generally good people, right? These are good people who have great intentions. They want to lead people, others to greatness, right? They're on this journey themselves to success, right? And these are good-hearted people, great intentions. They just, for whatever reason, they're not the greatest leaders, but it's because they're not looking at the one person that can actually change the whole situation. It's themselves, right? And listen, before we go any further, let me just say that I'm no saint here either, right? I screw up too. I mess up all the time too. Like I'm right there with you, right? Unfortunately, we're just human, right? And no one's perfect, right? No, there is no perfect human on the face of this planet. We all make mistakes. Plain and simple. So, but the difference between a sucky leader and a great one, is that the great ones, they know that they've got stuff to fix and they actually do something proactively about it, right? So whereas the sucky leaders are the ones who believe that they know it all and they don't need to take action, like they don't feel the necessity of taking action because they feel like, I'm a great leader. There's nothing to change. There's nothing that I need to adjust. There's nothing that I need to pivot to make myself better because I'm already great, right? That's the thinking that holds back these types of sucky leaders, if you will, right? So let's dig into this. So first things first, you got to stop blaming everyone else. That's the first thing. Stop blaming your team. Stop blaming your upline. Stop blaming the company. Stop blaming the industry. Stop blaming timing. Stop blaming the product. Stop blaming, the election. Stop blaming the president. Stop blaming, just stop, because it's not your team's fault. It's not the government's fault. It's not your product's fault. It's not your upline's fault. It's you, right? Now that's a hard pill to swallow. Okay, I know. It felt like an elephant for me when my mentor told me that. And, he gently guided me towards, realizing this for myself. Right. And if your team isn't performing, I would advise you to start by looking in the mirror, right? Ask yourself this, are you giving them the tools that they need to be successful? Right? Are you leading by example? Think about that. Samuel Johnson once said, and I quote, he who has so little knowledge of human nature as to seek happiness by changing anything but his own disposition will waste his life in fruitless efforts. Right? What's the translation of this? Right? What does all these fancy words mean? Well, it means you need to stop trying to change everyone else and start working on yourself. Right? Number 2, own your flaws. Listen, again, we're all human. We all have them. There's no flawless human, right? I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. There's no one on earth that is perfect, other than the Almighty, who is perfect. But, maybe you're terrible at communication. Maybe you're like me, you're a little disorganized, right? Maybe you're just plain lazy sometimes. I've been there. I'm guilty. I'm right there with you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, just own it. Own up to it. Tell yourself like, yeah, that's me. That's who I am. Be real with yourself, recognize it, and then fix it. Right? It's okay to be imperfect. It's not okay to remain that way and to do nothing about it. Right? I know it's hard to admit, like, you're not perfect. Again, guilty as charged. You know what I mean? But trust me, once you start owning your flaws, once you start, you'll see a huge change in yourself. Right? Your team will respect you more. They'll follow you more. Why? Because they see, like, you're the real deal. Like, they'll see that when you own up to it, when you own whatever flaw that you have, and you own it and you address it with your team, they're going to see that. They're going to know that, this guy's the real deal. He is what he says he is, right? And he's aware of it, right? They see that you're human and that you're working on getting better, right? People aren't blind, just because you don't own up to it, to your faults, and maybe you don't acknowledge it and work towards fixing it. Like, that just because you don't do that doesn't mean that your team isn't aware of it, right? So take proactive measures to fix them. It's pretty much that simple, which leads into the next bullet point here, is to take action, right? So now that you've stopped blaming others, you've owned your flaws, now what? Right? Well, now this is the point where you take action, right? Don't just sit there thinking about all the ways that you suck, right? Do something about it. You owned it. You recognize it, right? If you're bad at communication, take a communications course, right? Read a book on it. Listen to some podcasts about it, right? Ask your mentor to coach you on it, right? And above all, whichever action approach that you take to fixing your shortcomings, make sure to take notes, right? Study them and then put them into tangible action, right? Because there's no true learning by simply taking notes, by simply reading, by simply listening to podcasts. Like, I guess you get the information, but you don't really learn something until you take action on that information that you've ingested. Does that make sense? Right? If you're disorganized, start using a planner or some sort of, project management tool or something like that. If you're lazy, then set some goals and stick to them. Use your phone. Everybody has a phone these days, right? Set yourself some alerts. Use your calendar. There's notification. Your phone, it buzzes. There's bells ringing. It rings. Use that to your advantage if that's your type. If that's what motivates you. If that's what works for you, right? Action is what separates the sucky leaders from the great ones. Next step: keep growing. Now. Here's the thing with the whole growing that most people don't realize until they actually start to grow, is that you're never done growing, right? It's never. In fact, the moment that you think that you've got it all figured out, that's when the exact moment that you start sucking again, all right? So keep learning, keep improving, keep pushing yourself to become better by 1 inch every single day, right? We're talking small incremental betterness every day, not bitterness, betterness. You want to get a little bit better every single day, right? So join masterminds, attend conferences, read books, listen to podcasts like this one, right? Surround yourself with people who challenge you and that make you better, right? Because the truth is this, is that the best leaders, they never stop growing, right? And so finally, lead by example. Again, your team is watching you, right? They're taking cues from you. They're following your steps, right? So if you want them to be motivated, show them what motivation or what it looks like to be motivated, right? If you want them to be disciplined, show them what it is that discipline looks like. What does that look like, right? What do you want them to do? Then do it, whatever that is, right? If you want them to be great, show them what greatness looks like. Because again, your team is not going to do what you tell them to do, right? They're going to do what they see you doing. Does it make sense? And so if you're not doing what you're saying, right, they're going to do what you tell them. They're not going to do what you tell them, right? So does that make sense? So yeah, there you have it, my friends. That is my tip for today. Remember, it's all about looking in the mirror, owning your flaws, taking action, and never stop growing. All right? The journey to becoming a great leader, it starts with you. And I know that you have everything that you need to be that great leader is already inside of you. All right. So if you found this episode helpful, if you found it inspiring, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. And if you have any questions, any topics that you'd like to talk about, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to follow the link in the description for access to my free masterclass training, where I show you firsthand how to take all these tips and put them into action today. Until the next time, I want you to stay legendary, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care now. Bye.